Greetings all. We're going to work on the event in lesson 7, most people's lab 7. We're going to create the form for the Rolling Stones event before most of your time, but not mine. So let's begin. The first thing inside our body opening and closing tag, and that's absolutely where it needs to be, nowhere else. Inside the body opening and closing tag, we want to make sure that we put all of the content there. Before our form begins, you wouldn't have this inside of the form, so before our form begins, we're going to have a heading 1, and our heading 1 is going to be the Rolling Stones! Exclamation point. Okay, and then we have after that a paragraph. So we have a P tag, and this is in concert on January 15th, 2011. Don't miss this great performance. Okay, now make sure you go back and check spelling and grammar errors that you have that correct. You don't want to lose points for something simple like that. And then we need an H2, and our H2 is going to be 2 purchase tickets. And remember, we always nest headings in order. You can't have an H2 without an H1, and you can't have an H3 without an H2. So now, after we've got what's above the form, we can go ahead and create our form opening and closing tag. So there we go, form opening and closing tag. And I'm going to hit a few enters so that I have plenty of room. Now, to make this easy, I'd usually put this in a label, but this is not what I've seen in the examples for this particular class, for this particular lesson. So we're going to do it exactly as was presented by the instructor's content. So we're going to type, what is your first name and your phone number? And then the last is, and how many tickets do you need? Now we're going to create the text box for the user input. And the way we do that, we're going to put name, and the first one is first name. Let's just take a glance and see what it looks like at this point right now, with doing nothing else to it but that. Okay, so the correct information is displaying, and that is a great start. So I'm going to X out of this. And now, according to our instructions, we're told to use a table to display the information. So now right below the form opening tag, we need to go back and we need to put a table opening tag. I always use the helpers here just to help me avoid typos. And now just before the form closing tag, we're going to put the table closing tag. Okay, and so now what we need to do is we need to think, looking at our example, we have 4 rows and 2 columns because we're going to put the buttons in as well. So I'm going to come back over here, and now I want to put a row around each pair. In other words, each pair of question and input. The first thing I'm going to do is I need a table row opening tag. And then after the input, I need a table row closing tag. And the same here, I need a table row opening tag. And then after the input, I need a table row closing tag. And then I need a table row opening tag. And then I need a table row closing tag. And then I need one more table row opening and closing tag, and this is where I'm going to put the 2 buttons. So we can go ahead and we'll go ahead and create the buttons right now. We're going to have an input type reset and an input type submit. Knowing that each one of these is also going to be in a TD tag, which means table data. We'll go ahead and create the 2 table data tags. Now we're going to do an input type is going to be submit, and then we're going to close this guy. Alright, then we're going to, inside the next table data, we're going to create another input, and this input type is going to be reset. And you should have the same list available. Don't forget to close your input. And input is just an input. It doesn't need anything else. This is just input type submit and input type reset. Alright, so we have our first table row, and we need to wrap each one of these inside table data tags. Table that holds the 4 rows and 2 columns of information that's in our form, we can preview it and compare it to the example. Now remember, you're connected to the sample.css file that came with your lesson. So I'm going to preview this page, and it looks pretty close to what it's supposed to look like. Let's compare it. I'd say that's pretty spot on. The only thing we need to change, and I'll show you how to do this. Okay, we want our buttons to say submit your order and reset your order. So we're going to add inside of our input for submit and reset, we're going to add a value. Okay, let's take a look and see how that looks. I'm going to open in my default browser, and there you go. That looks pretty much identical to the requirement for the lesson. I hope that helps. Have a great day.